Okay, YouTube folks, Landon here with Voltage Adventure. Coming to you with a good quick review of the Ego power station, Ego Nexus power station, and the Lion Energy Safari ME power station. I kind of wanted to do a quick comparison between the two because they are comparable in size. In terms of the power rating, they're rated the same, 2,000 watts continuous, 3,000 watt peak. This one being 2,000 watt continuous, 4,000 watt peak. But I want to share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly for both. I'm going to try and keep this short. I've done a more extensive video comparing the two with some examples of the power output that they actually can produce in comparison with their rating. So just to dig right into it, this is the Ego Nexus power station here. Fancy looking, nice looking. I think it's built really well. However, there are a few things that I don't really care for about it. Let's go into it quickly, and then we'll switch over to this one. Number one, so it says it's rated at 2,000 watts continuous, 3,000 watt peak. Now I've done several tests on this. The most I can ever get out of it is about 1,750 watts. That's using all four 7.5 amp hour batteries. They're new batteries too, so I know that that's not the problem. It's just simply been overrated. And so pay no attention to the box which says 3,000 watts. That's actually its peak rating, that it can only do that for a couple of milliseconds or a few milliseconds. That's for like surge power when a AC unit is kicking on or a refrigerator pump is kicking on for those first half a second or so that it surges up to 3,000. Now, that's difficult to test that portion of it. It's very easy to test what the continuous power rating is, which this claims to have 2,000. It's not capable of that. At least this unit is not. I don't have multiple units to test. The most I can get out of it is about 1,750, and even then I had to do several tries just to get to that point. So 1,750 watts. Again, it's overrated, underproducing. The other thing I really don't like about it is that there is no solar capabilities whatsoever. You buy a product from a good company that you think is going to give you what you need. I think with the industry, where it is now, and the competition and how many power stations there are out there, it's funny that they wouldn't include a way to charge it through solar. What they do include, which is rather pitiful as well, is this charger that comes with it here is only capable, and I'll just bring this up and show you, is only capable of, let's see here, where is it? If you can see that there, 170 watts. Which, if I can just quickly do some math for you, 170, if you had if you had four 7.5 watt hour batteries, 7.5 amp hour batteries, the biggest ones down here. Ego just came out with 10 amp hour batteries with their new riding lawnmower. Prior to that, these 7.5 amp hour batteries were the biggest. If you have all four of those on here, it would take this charger over 13 hours to charge it. That renders this power station virtually unusable without backup good old petrol generator in order to charge it up. If you were to take this out on the job site, use it all day long, you get home at 6, 7, 8 o'clock, you can't even go to work until 13 hours after that if you want this to be fully charged. So it really is actually unusable. It's unusable for house backup, because if you use it all up, you run in your refrigerators and things like that, how are you going to charge it? If there is sun, you can use one that actually does have solar charging capabilities, which this one doesn't have. So again, you're going to have a generator, which is kind of the reason for these, is to eliminate having to have a little Honda gas generator to run things. This would have to have that, because it's just simply what it comes with is not sufficient at all. It doesn't charge fast enough. It's pretty ridiculous. What else? Doesn't have any 12 volt output as well. There's no cigarette lighter type output, no 12 volt output at all. So all you have is your three 120s, and then it's got 4 USBs. It is nice because it's got Bluetooth capabilities. Again, that's something that I would never want to turn on my phone and do the connection and all that stuff just to run it. I'd just come and turn it on and plug it in and run it. So that's kind of a little bit of a gimmick, so in my opinion, things. So the other thing I was going to mention is on this Ego power station, with the included charger, again, it's almost completely unusable in my opinion. If you already have the equipment, you'll probably have one of these fast chargers. This makes this machine much more usable. However, in my opinion, it's still not as usable as this. This is 550 watts versus 170. So you can charge a 7.5 amp hour Ego battery on this in about an hour. So if you already have the equipment, like I say, you have either the snow blower or a lawnmower or something, then this unit comes in handy for this. But again, you've got to charge one, take it off, charge another one, take it off, charge another one, take it off, in order to make it usable for, say, construction or using it as a house thing. It's not something where you can just plug this unit in and charge all the batteries at once. So again, kind of an inconvenience, but I just wanted to point that out, that if you have the equipment, you probably have this, which makes this more usable, because with the included charger, I think it's almost unusable. You can leave it charged up all the time, I guess, which isn't good on the batteries, so that you have full capacity when you need to use it. Again, that's not, in my opinion, that's not advised, because it's hard on the batteries to keep them charged up all the way. So if you know anything about lithium batteries, and we can go into that at another time. So, but other than that, I think it's built well. It seems like it's durable and high quality. I think Ego puts out pretty good equipment. However, more recently, I think they've gone downhill a little bit. I've seen several reviews on their batteries as of lately, and they don't seem to hold up near as long as their older batteries. So for what it's worth, that's what I've heard. Now let's switch over to the Safari ME by Lion Energy. This one is a new product for them. It has a rating of 2,000 watt continuous, 4,000 watt peak. It has 922 watt hours worth of battery energy storage. And quick rundown of the battery configuration, because I kind of took a couple of panels off to really dig in and see what's in there. So what it has is 48 cells that are 32650 lithium iron phosphate cells. So they're a cylindrical cell. The dimensions are 32 millimeters by 65 millimeters. So they're a little over an inch in diameter, 3 inches or so in length. There's 48 of those. Now, the way they've configured this is in a 24 volt configuration. There's upsides to that and there's downsides to that. The downsides is that anytime you have a 12 volt output, which is fantastic that they included that, because you have a 12 volt Anderson connector output and then your regular 12 volt, automotive output, cigarette light style. So what I was saying is the downside of having it a 24 volt system is that they do have to use another component to step down the voltage, a buck converter or step down voltage converter for this output. When you do that, you have some efficiency losses because it's going through another component. However, I think the reason that they did the 24 volt system was so that they could fit as much power as this can produce in this small of a package. You couldn't, I doubt that you could fit a 2,000 watt inverter that's capable of 2,000 watts or more, and I'll cover that in a second, into a box this size that's in a 12 volt configuration. You have to have bigger, thicker wire. Usually the transformers have to be bigger, things like that within the inverter. So they did what they could to fit it in something that is similar size as a Honda EU 2000 generator, and this comes in at about a pound or two less than that. And so they had to do it in 24 volt configuration. The other downside to a 24 volt configuration is that you're somewhat limited on the solar panels that you can use. You can't use your standard 12 volt 100 watt RV solar panels. Those are your most common ones. Now you can find very easily, you can find 24 volt RV solar panels as well. And that's what would be required for this, either a 24 volt one that's made for 24 volt systems or for 36 volt systems. The voltage range on the charge controller in here is 36, I believe, to 60. And it's a hard cutoff at 60 because, and this is the other downside, is that it will not do anything more than 60 volts. So you can't use some of the house solar panels that are 61 or higher. I have several that we use here at Voltage Adventure to mount on RVs, and they are 61 volts. And this, you plug it in and it just simply doesn't charge because it's over the rated solar input voltage. So kind of a downside. However, they sell the right panels for it. Again, you can find them online easy. Those are the trade-offs you get for a compact, small package that can produce as much power as this can, and still be capable of having kind of a lightweight configuration. You have to go to a 24 volt system, and I think that's why they did that. Anyway, so that's kind of the rundown of the Safari ME. Now, I will say that when I did tests on this one overperformed, or this one underperformed. This one overperformed. It's rated at 2,000. I was able to push 2,400 watts continuous with this unit, which was super impressive. I love it when companies can produce something that over delivers, right? They understate and they over deliver, and you pay for something knowing what you're going to get, and then you get it and it happens to perform better than what they stated. It makes a very ecstatic customer. So I wish every company would do that. It's not good business to underdeliver. So I am impressed with this, especially with the power delivery. Again, 922 watt hours. When I run it through a test, pulling a roughly 350 watts through just a heater. It was able to pull almost 800 watt hours from that. So that kind of gives you an idea of the efficiency of the inverter. It's probably about, in that scenario, it's probably about 23-24% losses. That sounds kind of high. It's pretty on par with a lot of inverters, especially ones that have to be compact and small enough to fit inside of here. So this one was far less efficient than that. With the same test, I got less than 600 watt hours out of batteries that equaled 980 watt hours. Okay, 2 7.5 amp hours and 1 2.5 amp hour. So this one does outperform in every way that I've found so far. The other nice thing is that the charging system's all built in right there. Like I said with this one, if you're going to charge 4 7.5 amp hour batteries, it's going to take you 13.5 hours. With this one, it can be completely dead. You can charge it up within a little less than an hour and a half. So about an hour and 28 minutes, and this thing is fully charged. That is a very usable item. You know, if you're on the job and you don't want the noise of a Honda generator running all the time, use this. When you run it out, crank up the Honda generator, and it's only got to run for an hour and a half, and this thing's charged back up and ready to go. Or if you have solar panels, like I said, this will, the internal charger from 110 will do 720 watts is what I saw on my watt meter. That's how you're able to get 922 watt hours back into this thing in less than an hour and a half. Or you can charge it with solar, and you can put as much as 600 watts into it with solar, which would put us right around hour and 45 minutes to between an hour and 45 minutes and 2 hours to charge this thing with solar. So anyways, very capable machine. I'll show you again on the back here. It's got another large input. That's for an extra expansion pack that they sell with these as well. These come in at a retail of $2,200 to $2,400, and I think well, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not entirely sure what the price is on the expansion pack, but I do know the expansion pack is double the size of the capacity in here. So when you hook that up, you have 3 times the capacity. You've tripled it. Goes from 922 watt hours with the expansion pack plugged in. It jumps that up to 29 something, just shy of 3,000 watt hours. So makes it a very capable machine. Awesome for RVs. This thing will run in a microwave, any microwave, no problem. It'll run really any AC unit, no problem. However, it's not real feasible because the capacity inside any of these solar generators, power stations, all these things, the capacity inside is not very much, simply because they have to have everything compact into one unit that's light enough to carry. It's just not possible to put tons and tons of capacity built inside of the unit. So they've done the expansion pack, which makes it actually feasible to do an AC unit for a few hours. Obviously, depending on the size of the unit. Most of them are your RV units are pull about 16 to 1700 watts in hot conditions. So this could run that for a while with an expansion pack. And then it'd take a while to charge it back up. You'd want quite a bit of solar going into it if you were to do that. The other thing also that I failed to mention so far, this can run as a partner with a gas generator. So you could plug your Honda generator into this as as it is charging this and have your RV with your using your AC unit or whatever plugged into this, and this will act as the buffer for that Honda generator. As many of you have ran into the problem of the Honda generator maybe being able to run the AC, but it won't quite start it because of the surge power. Or maybe it runs it for 10 minutes and then it dies because it builds up too many amps. You could use this as a companion and truly run your AC almost indefinitely. I think this thing would run it for several hours with that Honda generator, charging this, putting 100% of the generator's power through it and into the AC, and then this being used to supplement that little bit of power on top that it needs. So no more having to pack around 2 Honda generators. You've got a good portable system that you can use for everything else, almost quiet, almost silent. And then if you need to run big things, run your AC on a hot day out camping, you can do that with this and a Honda generator. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention about these. Let's see. Again, I've got, I think that's probably about all I wanted to really go over. I will post another video that's a little more extensive, and it is kind of long. It's probably 45 minutes where I do some examples of how this thing runs. I'll show you the how the fans work in there, because some fans are loud. Some fans can be as loud as a Honda generator anyways, and that's what we're trying to eliminate is noise when we use these, right? Noise and carbon footprint. So there's a quiet fan that comes on when you start this thing, and it's quiet up to about 600 to 700 watts. After that point, it kicks on more fans and it becomes rather loud. However, usually if you're going to be powering something that's more than that, probably the thing you're powering is about as loud as this anyways. So with that being said, I did want to mention a couple things. This isn't a review to go over every single little thing. There's so many reviews on YouTube already, I don't want to be redundant, that cover the faceplate of this and how it all works, and so that's why I didn't really cover it. But to be quick, like I say, two sources of 12 volt output. You've got 2 regular USBs and 2 USB-Cs, and then your 2 120 outlets. Some have 4, some have 3, some have 2. I don't think that is much of a problem, or it's kind of a moot point for me, because you can always just bring this out and put a splitter on it and do 4 out of 1 if you want to. So the fact that this only has 2, you might say you're getting shorted 1 or 2 versus other units. Again, that's a moot point because you can just put a splitter on that and serve the same purpose. So 90% of the time you need a splitter anyways in order to have the room to plug in multiple things. So again, we'll have a link to this below where you can purchase one if you'd like. We're a channel and a company that is just going to give you the down and dirty of everything. I'm going to tell you exactly what I don't like about all the products that I've reviewed. I've just brought to you some content that you haven't seen in other reviews about this, explaining the battery configuration, the fact that it's a 24 volt system. You have to have certain panels, things like that. Those are some things that you have that I haven't seen anyone else do cover in this Safari ME. So I hope that helps, and subscribe, hit like if you like the content. We're going to bring more. Again, we're a company that deals with solar RV installations, lithium battery upgrades, anything to do with e-bikes, pretty much anything unplugged from the grid is kind of what we're doing here at Voltage Adventure. So Leave your comments below if you want more insight on anything. Let me know, and we'll bring you some more content in the future. Thanks for watching.